Program. Let's go to line one where caller is holding. Caller, good morning. How are you? You're on the air.
What's up, my brother?
What's up?
You still doing God work?
We're trying.
Hey, it's hard to get harder every day. Brother Mike,
Peace.
hey, what you see is Brother Ashanti kind of sweat. See, somebody made the ballot last year. Him and Finley cohorts and got the last person off the ballot when the districts got redistricted. They gave him an old packet. So right now, that brother running against he made the ballot.
Yes.
So now he got to put himself out there more than ever. Last year he didn't do none of that last election like you doing now.
Okay.
But see, the crazy part about it is she snuck up on him, and she got almost 1,300 or something write-in votes. The total election was like 3,500. You got the most write-in votes in the history of Milwaukee County.
I'm telling you.
So it can be done. So what you see is concerned alderman.
Yes, sir.
So all the people he ain't called back, oh, that's coming to haunt him. So somebody made the ballot now, baby, so he's sweating bullets. When he should have been sweating bullets anyway.
But in the end, you know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, Shanti is in no threat of losing his race.
Man, listen, that man ain't doing all what you say he's doing. I know him. I helped him get elected when he first came to WNOV. So I know him, brother. You dig what I'm saying? I know people he ain't called back. I know the game they play.
I bet you once he wins by 10 points. You want to take that
I'm
bet?
telling you, dollar to your donut. We already know.
Did he win by 10?
Dollar to a donut.
Yep. I bet you lunch that Ashanti wins by at least 10 points. Minimum.
At least 10 points.
At least. I should say 15, but I'll say 10. I'm not a gambling man, but in
All
this
right,
case.
give me 15.
No. 10.
Dollar to a donut.
Okay.
Because 15 points means that whoever his opponent is shouldn't even be running. If you lose by 15 points, you weren't a credible threat in the first place. So let's make it competitive and make it interesting. 10 points.
2 points.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right.
I got you.
That's an easy bet.
Wait till you see where you take me for lunch. Expensive as hell. All right. Anything else, brother?
And you don't say you're doing God's work no more.
I sure won't. All right, let's grab another telephone call. Caller, good morning. How are you? You're on the air.
Good morning, Sherman. I'm doing fine. Mike,
Good morning.
I heard you talking about the different races. Did you speak on the one on the northwest side with Deanna Alexander?
No, I didn't.
So Deanna Alexander, County Board Supervisor, very
Yes.
conservative Republican. Martha De La Rosa, I believe,
Yes.
is running against her. And Martha
Yes.
is also supported by the Working Families Party.
Right. So that's a no-brainer there.
Okay,
It's
now
going to be
back.
Sister De La Rosa.
Okay, now back to Larson and Abel.
Yes.
I didn't hear anything on that. I might have missed it.
Well, me personally, I'm doing it right in. And,
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to do. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because neither one to me is snake. Both of them are snakes.
But did you hear what Lena Taylor said? And I thought that was credible.
No, I didn't. I hear what she said.
And she said this. She said it's the snake you know versus the snake you don't know. So you got to go with the snake you know because at least you know what you're going to get with them.
That's true.
And that's why she's working with Avery. And apparently he can be held accountable. He came to WNOV. We ain't seen Larson yet.
Yeah, but even though he came there, Mike, before the election was up and running real good, he was not in our community at all. Not at all. We didn't hear from Abel at all. Then all of a sudden he shows up on the show.
Man, my first conversation with Chris Avely on my program, I can't speak for him. He's also been on Eric's program too. Avely has never shied away from an invitation.
No. I'm not saying he didn't come to your show. I'm
Two
just saying
years
we didn't
ago,
hear
he's been
from
on
him
consistently on my program for 2
I didn't
years.
hear about him being in the neighborhood at all.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Okay, so, and Mike, what about the mayor?
The mayor, I'm doing it right in.
Oh,
Definitely. I'm writing in Jerry Walker.
Jay Walker?
Yeah.
Johnny Walker?
Jerry Walker from the 2 Sevs.
Oh, Gary Walker.
Jerry Walker.
Oh, Jerry Walker.
Yes.
Okay, Mike, you don't know who this is, but I know who you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then take care. Thanks. Bye.
Ask that.
I know.
Let's grab another phone call.
Queen for president.
So I don't have to dwell on it. Rick, did you hear what he said? You heard that.
Queen for president. Hillary Clinton can't get more than Queen. And Queen has passed away.
Good caller. Good morning. You're on the air. How are you?
Good morning, Darwin. How are you?
I'm good.
Hello, Mark McGee.
Hey, sister, how are you?
On the radio.
Amen. How are you?
Fine. I have much respect for you, young man.
Thank you.
But my problem is Ashanti Hamilton.
Yeah, I know. That's my brother, and a lot of people have problems with him, but I think the message that's going to be sent to him, and Malala in particular, is that they have to increase the intensity of their service to the people.
Exactly, because I was informed that he was a relative of mine, and I approached him at the
Fred Hamilton meeting out on 77th and Good Hope.
Mhm.
And I asked him, did he know Bishop Stephen Reed? And he said he didn't, but his mom, no, I asked him, was he related to Bishop Stephen Reed? And he said that he didn't know, but his mom is. And he just turned away and continued what he was doing like I didn't even exist.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times, and I'm gonna make excuses for him because that's my brother. I came in with him. You're in the fishbowl a lot of times, and it's very, very difficult to navigate everybody that's around. So I think it's an oversight on his part, and I'm sure if he heard that, he would be apologizing because he's a real gentleman, and he wouldn't purposely disrespect you.
Well, he wasn't a gentleman that night. I mean, I didn't expect his undivided attention.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
But don't treat me like that, because you might think you're somebody and I'm nobody, but really I am somebody. But
Is it possible I can have him call you?
Right?
I'm going to be his assistant right now. Is it possible I can have him call you?
No, at this point, I'm not going to even vote for him,
Yeah, I understand. But he still, when he wins, he still is going to be your alderman. So you have to try to form a relationship with him so that it could be a positive relationship. You still can hold him accountable. Even if you don't vote for him, you still have to hold him accountable.
Right.
So is it possible that I can connect you with him? Because I guarantee you he'll call you. And you can still not vote for him.
I want to know my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether I'm high class, low class, or whatever, I'm not like that.
Can I get your number off air, and we're going to definitely resolve this?
Sure you can.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mike.
Give us 1 second, hold.
Yeah, you stay on. We'll put you on hold. Rick will get your number, and then we'll give that to Mike. Thank you.
All right.
Don't hang up. Rick, can you give us line 2 while line 1 is on hold? Good morning, caller. You're on the air. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. I imagine your guest is Mike McGee Jr. So good morning.
Good morning.
I only have to say one thing. I'm an elder, so I guess I can kind of say what I want.
That's right. Say it.
And whatever. Probably in your dad's age range. Not probably, I am. Proud of it. I just don't like when we do neighborhood walkthroughs with the older person. I won't call a name, but we've done this twice.
You should. Please, can you please call the name?
Ashante.
Well,
hey.
We have done it in 2011, and we did it last summer. Promised a follow-up meeting in September, and I'm still waiting. And now when I call down there, I can't get through. So, I mean, we've asked about speed bumps. We've asked about things. We walked through the neighborhood, pointed out things, and I'm a person who doesn't like heat. So to get me out to do a walkthrough in July is major. My neighbors told that. They were like, oh my God, you're out in the heat? And I said, yes, I know. And now to have done it twice, and not one thing has happened is just really upsetting.
So is it possible, ma'am? I said to the other elder, I would have Ashanti call you today. He needs to. He has, and that's great that you're saying that. We can hold him accountable.
So I told somebody, if I were younger, I'd run against him. But I do have somebody I think I'm going to have to groom who will go out there and once we do these kind of things, give us some results. I don't want to hear how much it costs to put up a speed bump or an island when over going by our church, they put up a big one because this woman just had a grandchild and she didn't want her grandchild playing on the sidewalk with people driving up and down the street.
Yes.
So when you come off the expressway, you can't even go down Garfield if you're coming from, I believe it's coming south into the north side.
Yes, ma'am.
But, I mean, honestly, really, and I said, I don't mind. Put it on my tax bill.
Okay, you understand that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I paid for 2 cars.
Yes, ma'am.
Even though I might not need them. But I did it because I was across the street from my parents, and when we had these big celebrations, we needed extra carts. So I paid for them. It's no biggie. But, I mean, really, to have me come out to promise all this, to have media and police and all these people out with you, and then absolutely nothing.
Yes, I understand clearly. And that, he has to be held accountable, and that's, if it was me, hey, there are people who said, I didn't call him back, things of that nature, and I'm willing, you have to be willing to be accountable if you're in that position,
Let
so.
me give you one example
Yes.
too. This was years ago when Pratt wasn't called the person. And I lived a few blocks from where I am now.
Yes.
And I had a side drive. And I'm pulling out, and this car is so close to me. I try to turn, and I turn into a snowbank, and I'm caught. So I called my father. My son was about 2 or 3 years old at the time. Alderman Pratt, and he brought a squad car with him, came, shoveled me out, did all that themselves, and my father said, you go on to work, I'll take the baby on to his grandparents. And whatever, and I'm like, really? Really? My father called the alderperson, Alderman Pratt,
Yes.
and he came down there, and he was helping the police shovel me out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I don't expect that kind of service, but when I walk through a neighborhood with you and we point out some things and you promise us something,
Right.
I mean, at least
Yeah.
promise us the meeting you were supposed to have in September.
You're 100% correct.
There's nothing wrong with having a high standard for your representation. That's the thing about former Mayor Pratt. He raised the bar so high, even when he was
Yes.
acting county executive. A lot of folks forgot about that. He
Yes,
raised
he
the bar of
did.
representation so high that it's difficult for anyone else to follow in his footsteps adequately.
And the thing too is, you are the boss. Ashanti works for you, so there's no ifs, ands, or buts that he has to be
Well,
accountable.
that's
held
what I
accountable.
thought, because I remember the street was so slick. People were sliding, and my father called Alderman Pratt at the time.
Yes.
He had the city sweepers come out and ice that street, and it was a Sunday, because I remember pulling up at the church, and there they were, putting salt down our street on a Sunday afternoon.
So ma'am, can we take your number down and forward it to the
Mike, I don't
shop?
want to get in. Let me tell you why I don't want to get into that. So every person that Alderman Ashanti Hamilton did not call back, because there's 50,000 people in the district, that we're going to automatically connect. Ma'am, you call his office back again, and whatever issues or complaints that you have, you register them yet again. And if you do not hear anything back, because look, Ashanti is a very good friend of mine. I defend him. But what I don't want to do is all the people that may not have gotten a level of service, who didn't get a call back, I don't want to, well, we'll put you in, no, you call him, because the relationship that you have with your alderman, you will have if he's reelected for the next 4 years. So if you
Yeah,
still
there
have
were only
issues,
a few of
call
us
him
that
back.
walked with him that day. There were just a few of us who walked with him that day. I believe they blocked my number,
Uh-oh.
because every time I called, I was talking to the woman, and I said, well, we'll look forward to having, I wasn't rude or anything.
Lisa.
I was
Yeah.
just saying, we should have that meeting we said we were gonna have.
Well, this is
Well, then let that be a
job review
lesson
day.
learned,
And
right.
job review day is coming up, starting today. Early voting is job review day. So
Because now with the election going on, I don't want Ashanti apologizing to everybody he didn't call. If he didn't call somebody back, then that's the vote that you lose. You gotta learn that lesson.
Yeah.
But I do thank you for your call. We gotta grab another one. All right.
Thank you, sister.
Now, I know we do want to connect Ashanti with folks that he maybe didn't call back, but look, that's the job of his office. If Marvin Pratt would shovel snow out and he can't make a return telephone call, well, then you can only do so much for the project. All right, let's grab Mr. Sean Moore. Sean Moore, how are you?
What's going on, sir? What's
What's
going
up?
on, brother Mike?
Peace, what's up, fam?
What's that? I got a question, man, because I need clarification, all right? You know, if I could vote, I probably wouldn't vote this time, but I can't vote. But this is my
Could
question,
you
brother
wouldn't?
Mike.
What's that?
I probably would withhold or write in somebody that could win.
All right.
This is my thing, though, okay? Especially with the mayor's race, man, knowing what we got in Barrett and Donovan, the question is this: if we write in somebody that can't take office, that can't win, okay, and we write in 30,000 votes, all right, and Donovan got his face, he gonna get 35,000 votes, but those 30,000 that we write in that's not for Barrett, they don't go to Donovan, but that may just help Donovan win. And that's my fear.
Understood. And Sean, we had this conversation online as well. And I don't know if you heard the whole show, but the point of it is, at this late moment in time, we already didn't turn out as it is. But if we do turn out, we don't need to give our vote to either one, because that's what independence is all about. Whoever wins is fine, but we are looking at future elections. We're looking at 2020. We're looking at August. So we have to start establishing our own base of people that are independent of either candidate, since we're not satisfied with either one. And we can take the results of that election. Just like if Trump wins, we're gonna have to work with that situation. But Barrett is not gonna lose, even if we wrote in 30,000. There's not enough of us that even are unified around writing in. But I'm just saying, if we got 500 people, that's a start.
I'll say 500, that's not going to touch nothing. My theory is,
but it's a start, brother.
My theory is that, we get people motivated to write in somebody that can't take office, right? We know Jerry can't take office.
We know he can't, but the whole point of it is we're independent. And if we wrote in Lena Taylor, you got to understand the rules. And I'm going to tell you this, brother. The rule is, whoever you write in, if you want it counted, they have to actually declare the Friday before the election. So we can't even write Lena in anyway, because she's not going to declare. See what I'm saying?
But I think the point is more symbolic. I know this is a very high number. If Tom Barrett sees that 30,000 people wrote somebody else's name in, he knows that when he gets sworn in for his fourth term, he's going to have to do right by those people, because at some point in the future, they may not support his
initiative. That's the same thing for Ashanti.
Right, that's an entire base of people that a new mayoral candidate can court. It's very symbolic. It's not about writing somebody's name in so the write-in candidate wins. It's sending a very clear message that we don't like candidate A and we don't like candidate B, so we're going to be independent and choose a candidate C, even though candidate C can't hold office. It's symbolic.
Sean, the thing too is, even with Brother Ashanti, there's a few thousand people who are not satisfied with the service, so he's going to get a message as well, even if it's not write-in. Whenever you win the election or lose the election, you can see who was against you. Like, hey, man, I only won 51% of the vote. That means 49% of the people can't stand me. I better do something to step it up. So that's really the whole point.
Saturday,
what's that?
You coming to the meeting Saturday?
Possibly.
Okay. We need to get up before this meeting, man. Me and you, man, we need to sit down, have a real conversation, man. Me and you know what I'm saying? I'll call you later, man. See what we can do before that meeting.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Sean. Appreciate the call.
All right, peace.
I know Sean has worked with Alderman Ashanti Hamilton on a variety of initiatives, safe zones being just one of them, so that makes sense. Let's grab another call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. How are you?
All right. Hey, man, that brother is sitting there. Thank you, man. I seen a little bit of you in that conversation with that elder and clean up Ashanti, and you had them people almost shaking hands. Man, you a dangerous brother, man. Go sit down, man.
God bless you,
Thank you for your call. Your second
for the
call.
inspiration, brother.
Telling Mike to sit down. Mike, you ain't gonna sit down. You're just getting started. Is it, you were gone for a little bit, and then you come back, and have things gotten worse? Is the spirit of activism what you remember? Has it eroded? What your thoughts on it?
I think what's happened is this new term for those that want to be sophisticated about us being disunited. Silos. You have all these silos.
Right.
People in all these different areas doing different things. You have Andre Lee Ellis, for instance, in the 9th Street. You have Brother Sean on the area. You have different brothers in different areas doing different things. And so I kind of like to put it in street terms. I'm not saying I'm the street guy, but I like to put it in the most bare essence term, and that's a guy who went to prison for selling drugs. I'm gonna give an example. My brother, Kenny Cross. This man was very well known in his time. Did 20 plus years. Obama let him out. President Obama let him out. Came back, he saw a time bomb. But then also, as a drug dealer, say you come back to your block. And now it's new drug dealers there selling. And you used to have respect. Nobody don't know you no more. And so in my situation, I'm seeing a little bit of that, people trying to push back. But I also look at on the biblical side, which is Brother Nehemiah, the prophet Nehemiah, who came back to his community from exile to rebuild his community, and he had a lot of people resisting the build. So that's what the whole digital militia, 10,000 fearless, only any brother on the block that wants to defend the community is about. It's like, you have people building something. The ones that's coming to try to throw bricks at it, you have to have your spears and your swords to defend them, so that you can build, because we have so many attacks on us, from the poverty to all the issues in our community, that we cannot have a breath to do the things we need to do to build. So the things I'm looking at doing is not gonna be, oh, we're gonna protest against the police. It's gonna be some things we do economically to change our community. And if we can't establish an economic base, then we do not have anything.
Sure, I'm on the telephone call. Caller, good morning. How are you? You're on the air.
Good morning, I'm doing well. This is Kim. I like that, Mr. McGee. How you doing?
How are you?
Hi, good. Taking information down. What you could do, if people are talking about Shantae Hamilton, I like him. Shantae's a good person. Is to give the people your number again, and maybe giving people rides to the phone, and have them call your number, and if they want to maybe give information about Shantae Hamilton or something like that, maybe you could help assist in that. And if he gets elected, maybe you can be his aide. I like
That's what I do. But no, I don't want to be his aide. I want to be free.
But you sound good. I like the information.
Thank you, sister.
And I think it's going to engage those same people too. Maybe go back and vote for him after they really look at the whole picture and maybe stir and can get him on the radio or something of that nature before election time to address some of these issues. But all in all, the brother's a good person.
Yes. But just, hey, they say Barrett a good person though.
No.
See what I'm saying? Good people don't, hey, you can't, good people don't mean nothing in politics.
No, I think Barrett's a good person, but it's time for Barrett to sit down and let someone else take over. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone running this are going to be anybody's Superman, but at this point, that's what we got here. So
You have to work with them.
Right, or just get somebody else to write it in, which won't happen. I think it's a good thing that you can announce your number again to people.
Yes, ma'am.
So Shantae Hamilton can call them and address the issues himself, but I think he's a good person. We're all going to have something that people don't like or maybe didn't address right. So we get a hit on and talk to him, and we can have a block watch before he gets elected or election come up or bring him on the radio. I think you can clear up some of those issues because you were able to hit that lady to give you her phone number. She wasn't going to. She was hesitant.
Yes.
I like how you engaged.
That's what we got to be peacemaking. And so I thank you for shifting momentum so I can come back at Sherwin. You know, I agree with what he was saying. When we, you know, the word warriors, everybody do their own thing. We got to have somebody to hold people accountable too. So my thing is I can help hold people accountable because I was in there. So as a former player in that game, I can say, hey, I can call Russ Stanford and say, hey man, you have a whole area that you haven't went to that you need. You know, try to get some warning because warning does come before destruction. Right. And that's really what all you can do.
Yes, most people are calling accountable.
Thank you for that call.
Thank you, Kathy.
So the number is 414-629-5452 for Rise to the Polls.
We had, and Russ has been here more times than I can count. And there was a show that we did maybe 2 months ago where Russ was here and Malele was here, and they were talking about an event, like a housing resource fair that they were doing together. Yes. And part of the kind of here for like an hour and a half, it was supposed to be an hour schedule, ended up being 2 hours. And part of it was discussing the housing resource fair and the first-time home buyers and lenders and getting your credit prepared, all the other stuff. But the vast majority of the conversation wasn't even about the event they came to promote. It was, I called your office, you didn't call me back.
It's real.
Malele, I talked to you on Tuesday, it's Friday, what about it? And they actually held office hours right here in real time on WNOV. And that happens more often than not. And Mike, you remember being in the job, you got 50,000 constituents. You cannot call everybody.
But you can be accountable, though. You can be accessible is what it's about.
But every phone call you get, because Malele said when she first took office, she had that, like there was a study that was done. She had the highest volume of calls of any other aldermanic district. What she got in one day was more calls than some aldermanic districts got in an entire week. So like 60 or 70 calls every single day.
I was getting 5,000. You know, the feds gave me my numbers. I was getting 5,000 just on my cell phone.
So, with that being said, and all the issues, some of the issues are state issues, some are county, some are federal, some is I don't like my neighbors, some is all sorts of other things. But I guess how do you navigate that when you get such a volume of calls and it's just one other staff person? Sometimes you just can't get to everybody, or it's just a lapse of memory.
You have to have your priorities straight, is what you better have.
Let's grab another telephone call before we get out of here. Take our break. Caller, good morning. How are you? You're on the air.
I'm fine, and I'm calling because my service son is there.
Wow, thank
you. My favorite. And I'm happy that you're doing well. Meet my approval.
Thank you.
And then the next thing I would like to say is that Ashanti Hamilton is my older person. And I love that man. And if it's something that I ask him to do, and it don't quite get done, I get a hold of him. Sometimes it's the office people that make the mistake. But that one elder, I just need to say this: you don't I'm an elder, and I respect all elders, but she was wrong. And let us elders stop bringing the complaints what someone did 50, 30, 40 years ago. I have been done wrong so much, but I don't bring that up way back then. My God, what's wrong with us? We tear those youngsters and make them do right when they're not. That's our job in life, is to train them, teach them, and tear them constructively criticism is the best. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to chime in on that, because what we did with Chris Larson over the weekend is really what constituents should do to their older people on that level. If they really that bad, you need to go to everything they do publicly, because I'm gonna give you an example. The homosexual community, when I said the statements about the Jew cops, not directly talking about them being, the homosexual community, they had an issue and they came to all my public events. And I had to address it. Eventually, you're gonna have to address it.
Right.
They could be flies, eventually flies gonna attract to what. So if you don't address it, it's gonna just escalate and escalate. So Ashanti and all the other people and anybody that's elected, even with Mayor Beard, same thing. He can be held accountable just like Chris Larson was.
Right.
So he can be touched, but we have to want to touch. We have to want to hold people accountable. So when we get the made up mind, it's gonna happen.
Former Milwaukee Alderman Mike McGee Jr. Mike, if people want rides to the polls, give that telephone number out one more time.
Yes, 414-629-5452.
Keep fighting a good fight. We'll be talking to you again very soon.
Thank you, brother.
WNOB 860 AM, The Voice. Keep it locked. I will be right back.
Thank you for the interference. Get me out of here. I got a few things going. Let's
Yeah, I
go
need to
without
ask
bloodshed.
you what kind of time
You've seen
you
it. You heard it. Brother Mike McGee Jr., appreciate you. Bless up.